Miller versus Secretary of State, 2017. June 23, 2016. The United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union. But just days later, a storm began brewing, not in Brussels, but in the courts of London. Could the Prime Minister trigger Brexit on his own, or was Parliament the only body with the authority to decide? That question turned into one of the most important constitutional investigations in British history. Miller versus Secretary of State. The challenger. At the center of the case was Gina Miller, a businesswoman and activist. She argued that the government's attempt to push Brexit forward, without the approval of Parliament, was unlawful. Gina Miller. I wasn't trying to block Brexit. I was fighting to protect democracy. No government should ever be above the law. Governments stand. Government lawyer, confident, commanding. Foreign affairs and treaties fall within the executive's power. The Prime Minister has every right to trigger Article 50 without Parliament. The government's position was simple. Article 50 was just foreign policy. Parliament didn't need to be involved. Miller's case. Miller's lawyer. My lords, triggering Article 50 is not a mere formality. It will strip millions of UK citizens of rights they currently enjoy, freedom of movement, legal protections, and access to European courts. Such sweeping changes cannot happen without Parliament's approval. Miller's team presented documents, legal precedents, and constitutional principles as their evidence. The courtroom became an arena, not of crime and punishment, but of law and power. The Supreme Court investigation. The case quickly moved to the Supreme Court. 11 justices heard 4 days of arguments. Every word was scrutinized. Every precedent was tested. And across the country, millions watched the hearings unfold live. It was not just a court case. It was a constitutional investigation broadcast to the entire nation. Chief Justice, our question is clear. Can the government act alone, or must Parliament decide? The verdict, January 24, 2017. January 24, 2017. The Supreme Court delivered its judgment by a majority of 8-3. Chief Justice, the government cannot trigger Article 50 without Parliament. The future of this nation must be decided by its elected representatives. Fallout and impact. The decision shook Britain. Some called it a triumph of democracy. Others condemned it as judicial interference. But one thing was certain. Brexit would not move forward without the will of Parliament. Gina Miller became both a hero to some and a target to others. Yet her words echoed long after the ruling. Gina Miller. This case was never about stopping Brexit. It was about protecting the rule of law. The Miller case reshaped Britain's constitutional landscape. It proved that even in times of political upheaval, no government can bypass the principles of democracy. But as Britain moved forward with Brexit, one question still lingered. Thaw balloon in moments of national crisis. Who should hold the final power? The people, the government, or the law?